It is. Talking Reds, Monday, Neil Atkinson and Craig Hannan. And Craig, you had a wonderful advertising campaign lined up for Saturday, didn't you?
Oh my word. If you haven't seen the post-match show...
The Anfield Raps, king of marketing, Craig Hannan.
So, picture this, right? It's Saturday, the Reds have won 4-1. Craig being myself, the marketing man at the
Guru, I'd say, guru.
Yeah, let's go. You can't call yourself a guru, though.
I'll call
you need
you
other
guru.
people to
I'll
call you
call
that.
you
So
guru,
yeah. Whatever Neil describes me as. And you think the Reds have won 4-1. Going to put out a tweet saying subscribe to listen to our jubilant post-match show. Our ads are going to be, excited, all pictures of the players celebrating because they've scored 4 goals, they've gone top of the league, everything's happy. You set up all the ads, you hit them, you get ready to go, you listen to the first 5 minutes of the Pink. You basically have to go on, you have to click inactive in every single one of those ads, you have to delete the jubilant tweet because the Pink was...
It's only beat Arsenal like that.
Are you alright now? Are you okay?
They did me head in. I mean, it's honestly, there are you can have some reactions to football matches, and I was about as... And it's important, this really, to sort of to put... I've watched the game back, and I still think we were crap, by the way, but we'll come on to that in a minute. But it was like almost everything that happened between 10 minutes and 60 minutes just infuriated me more and more. And then I sort of relaxed a little bit when, I was almost all right when they went 2-1, in that I was like, that's why you tried to score the second, boys. Like, you've got the second now, they've got 2-1, they're not going to score again. I wasn't like, at no point was I thinking, oh no, this is in the balance. That never occurred to me. It was more, there's that goal that they get to make it 2-1, they could have got that at any time during the game. Any time during the game, that can just happen to you. Because it's just unlucky, it's soft.
It is unlucky.
It's unlucky, it was always going to be, it was either going to be that or a 25-yard thunderbolt that scores the first goal at Anfield in the league since February. Yeah. So I was all right about that, really. And then just all the messing about all the way through the game just really, really wound me up. And there's loads of people going, everyone's worried about goal difference or getting on Liverpool's backs. And some people have drawn what might be a valid comparison to, people being really angry after we went 0-0 against West Ham back in 2009 and went top. And it might be a valid comparison. But for me, it was like, I know this is a terrible sentence, but take the goals out of it.
Okay.
You take the goals out of it, and Liverpool's performance just drove me to distraction. If you take the goals out of it, and you can say, well, isn't the purpose of the thing goals and all that sort of stuff, but that's sometimes the best way to analyse a performance is well, just take the goals out. And that's where I was just, oh God, I was just thinking, come on lads, let's just not play into their hands, because they just wanted to play dead. They just played dead. They're so poor, by the way. I mean, if you weren't at the match, I think that and I mean this like as in many ways as a compliment to the players and especially the manager. They're the worst Premier League side I think I've ever seen. And I think that's because they did brilliantly to get promoted last season. I think that those players and that manager did. They should have come 12th in the Championship last season. Genuinely, that's how good I think they are.
That's what that manager does, isn't it? Yeah. He takes sort of mediocre teams and elevates them somehow to get them into the Premier League. Yeah, I think so. After I've set up all the ads and I've got the emails ready to go, lovely little marketing plan ready to go. Watch the first few minutes of the clip, and you described, what was it? You described it as a disgrace. The 10 minutes after the goal is a disgrace.
The 10 minutes after the first?
Yeah.
There's that little kerfuffle where it still looks to me like the goalie saves it outside the box and we should get a penalty. But the 10 minutes after that was just really, really, they were there for the taking. And what I was going to say, was, I'm not bothered about goal difference. I'm not bothered about Manchester City, really. What I liked about this Liverpool side at times last season, and we saw it, for instance, at home against Paris Saint-Germain this season, is how good they are at 1-0. You can be dead patient and you can even be a bit crap at 0-0 and think if you're at home against a poor side and think the goal will come. But what Ferguson's United were brilliant at is they play against a poorer side and they go 1-0, and then the best Ferguson side would then hunt them down until it was 2-0 and then 3-0, if you know what I mean, and just take the game away. And we could have been, if we'd have gone 3-0 up at half time, Southampton's a really good one. We don't play that well against Southampton, but we go 1-0 and you think, yeah, the next one's going to come. And the second half's a complete non-event, but you come out there thinking that's absolutely fine. But Liverpool were a complete non-event from that little kerfuffle after we've gone 1-0 around the edge of their box, where we should get a pen, to be fair, right the way through until arguably Shaqiri comes on. And that was the other thing, Shaqiri and Milner, the contrast Shaqiri and Milner made. They both demanded the ball. They both made runs. They both overlapped. They both went. I thought they were both great when they came on. Really, really good. And it's not about being right or wrong. I was not at all happy with the Shaqiri signing. I was made up he got his goal against Cardiff. I was so pleased for him, and I thought he deserved it off a number of performances. And I love that he got to give it the big one in front of the Kop. I was really pleased he gave it the big one in front of the Kop. When I was talking in the summer, I was saying the last thing I want to do is see him give it the big one in front of the Kop. He deserved that, and I was really pleased for him. So it's not about being right or wrong. It's just about, I don't know, I just think that Liverpool have got to not do what the opposition wants. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Is that fair? Am I being fair?
But then, the way I sort of saw it, I was a little bit frustrated at half-time that we'd only gone in 1-0, but then Van Dijk hits the post, we could have had a penalty. Lallana has one off the line, I think, from where I was sitting, and I think that, quite often we can say, if Liverpool haven't played well, but they've won 4-1, then that's a positive in itself. I think that, if we see Man City do that, you're watching Man City in that first half, and you're going, they've been shit here. Like Cardiff should be getting at them, but they've won 4-1, and that's infuriating. And that's kind of the positive that I was taking from it, aside from the fact that we'd just gone top of the league. It was our highest points total. These are all the marketing messages I was having in the ads.
Honestly, would have been some marketing push, wouldn't it?
Those adverts, they'll never see the light of day because of this man.
Beat Arsenal.
26 points, our highest points total at this point. God, it was the first goal we'd conceded at Anfield in the league since February, and it was unlucky. That was one of the things. I watched that goal go in, and I was like, no, because I wanted just to keep this run going. How long can this run go? And it was unlucky. It deflects, and we were unlucky. But I just felt that. There were positives to take from a performance that wasn't necessarily all that good. So
anyone who's giving me grief on the internet, it's not even half the grief that I've got from internal conversations. Don't be worrying about that sort of thing. I think all that's fair, and I do think that you can accentuate the positive, but it's worth putting this performance genuinely on top of the Huddersfield one. And there's go right the way back. I don't think we've been that good at 1-0 all year, and I think there's a couple of occasions, like for instance, we're really good at 1-0 against Leicester, and then we're terrible for 20 minutes. They really should get one back, and then we get the one just before the break, and it all looks all right. But we can't get out our own half for 20 minutes. We weren't great against Huddersfield, And the other thing I will say, both in my defence and in defence of the point I'm making, and it's the point I'm making which is more important than my defence. I'm not bothered, but the manager. I kept looking at the manager. I was at the top of the main, and he was doing that thing he does. Sorry, I probably just moved out a shot with his hands, but he's like that all game. He was doing that.
He wasn't happy. No, he wasn't.
Which suggests that he himself is going, come on, the equivalent of me having a small breakdown in the stand is what he's doing with his hands there.
Do you know what? Like
a camera watching me.
Oh, the way there's fan channels that are trying to capture the celebrations and those big moments within a football match, and they film themselves. My word, I'd have loved you filming yourself just to see you rather than caring about the celebrations or anything, just to see this minor breakdown as it unfolds.
If I'd have been able to do it, I'd have took my coat off and thrown it on the floor when Salah had a shot from 70 yards. Do you know what I mean? Like that idea of just grabbing something and just going, because I was just shooting from 70 yards, for God's sake. I was the equivalent of I've always loved, and the reason why I've always loved it is because I'm so with him on it. The one that Alonso scores against Luton when Gerrard's going spare at him, and then it goes in. Well, I'm Gerrard going spare at him, and that's what I am. So on them, I'm always of the view like I am Gerrard. So imagine in that one, it misses, and Gerrard keeps going spare at Alonso. Well, that's me.
Yeah,
I am Gerrard going spare at Alonso on things like that. But it is worth accentuating all those positive things that Craig has just said, which is that the Reds are top. They're top until Tottenham play Man City tonight. Have you seen this pitch?
Oh yeah, NFL, unreal. I think that'll actually be better for Tottenham, to be honest. I think
they played Dallas football against us. Didn't they? They kept going direct to Kane and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think Man City are going to be too happy. I think, but look, I think we just need to. I'm just at this stage of the season. I'm just not worrying about City. I'm not thinking about it. I'm just thinking about us picking up the points, and we get 3 points. We go top of the league, highest points total. We concede one, and that was annoying. And I think that that 20 minutes, 25 minutes in the first half will hopefully be confined to history. We'll not have to worry about it because at 90 minutes it becomes a finer detail, and that's what I'll leave that to the manager. I'll let the manager sort of.
And honestly, right. like the goal difference thing, I want to be dead clear again. This is not about goal difference. If you offered me right now, played 34, same number of points as Manchester City, but their goal difference is 20 goals better, I'd take that. You know what I mean? You give us 4 games to go to take 12 points and win the title and hope that they drop points in one of the 4 games. I'll take that. I would take that right now, you know, as a situation for us to be in. Let's be honest about this. You know, if we this season, let's say hypothetically, we lose the league on goal difference to Manchester City, will it be really miserable when it happens? Yes. Will we have had a fantastic time for the preceding 36 games? Absolutely. And will we also be set up to get to surpass them next year? Because they're not going anywhere. It's not like there's, you know, it's not like there's going to be Manchester City are going to suddenly be crap, but I don't think we're going anywhere either. That's the thing with this manager and these players. So, you know, you're asking me all of that. Yeah, absolutely. It's not about that. It's more about, I just want to see a Liverpool side. The right word to sort of, you know, I just think, I put it in my piece, and my piece was possibly better than I was on the show. But my piece said, I want to see a Liverpool side have other ideas. Not because Cardiff want you to play like this, then play like this and see if you get something. Yeah. Instead, overwhelm them and leave them going, oh no. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm still fuming with you, and I was like, you know, I had to drive into town to pick up some tickets, and I was almost, as I was listening, I was almost ready to drive to Anfield and dive on the show. I'm annoyed at Stu Wright as well. I'm going to tell him as well. I'm annoyed at them all on the pink, but that's all right. I think like one of the things that like we often get levelled at is that, you know, like, you know, I want to hear some different voices. I want to hear people, you know, argue with each other and you know, and challenge each other. And I think, you know, I listened to the post-match podcast, and then I watched the post-match pint, and like, you know, Johnny Milburn said that he was frustrated. He aired some of the views you did, but then you had Garth on there and Damien, who were
lovely fellow Damien.
He's brilliant, yeah. And you had them both on there, and they were talking about, well, you know, we're talking the bigger picture, and
we were having a lovely time in that room. We were in adjacent rooms, by the way. If anyone ever goes, oh, there's an agenda on the Anfield wrap, we were in adjacent rooms to one another, and we'd had a chat beforehand, not really about the footy or anything, and we had 2 completely different shows come out of it. And then you must have been.
I've never seen but I think that's the beauty of football, isn't it? Like, I've never seen 2 more contrasting shows come from the one match, and like, if you haven't listened to the post-match podcast, give it a listen, and then watch the post-match show as well, the post-match pint as well on YouTube, because you will see that. And I think that, look, I just think that 20 minutes, that 25 minutes before half-time, Salah's attempt at you know, scoring from the halfway line, you know, in 3 or 4 matches will we remember that?
Oh no, just like we won't even remember. Like, you know, it's as simple as we go to Arsenal and win. You've forgotten Huddersfield. Everyone's going to mostly remember the Cardiff thing, who likes the Anfield rap for me kicking off on everybody, and then that'll disappear in a couple of weeks.
I'm never going to allow you to forget it.
And there we are. But if you go to Arsenal and win, it's all about going to Arsenal and winning. And Arsenal drop points at Crystal Palace, which I think was good news, not bad news, because it shows that they can't pull this little second half trick every single week. Shows today. We're doing the Anfield wrap in a minute. People are about to start turning up to do the Anfield wrap, so that'll be getting done. It'll be out for you at 4:00. It'll be as a free podcast, so that's via our website. If you've subscribed, it's available there. It's available if you've subscribed and paid £5 a month, and it's on YouTube as well. So all of those different ways in which you can engage with that. I've got Rob Gutman, Mike Nevin, Adam Smith, and Chris Walsh. Lovely lineup, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I've then got Neil Jones coming in to do the review with me with Sean Rogers. That's I'm going to say that's at 12:30. That's not relevant information for you. It's out at 6 p.m. And we've got a lovely AFQ football coming up, which should be out at about 8 p.m. as well. I'm going to be asking on the Twitter for questions for that at about 1:30.
It's a good lineup as well.
That's a great lineup, and Paul Senior might be coming in to do it too.
Happy days.
Just bringing the party even further.
I think as well on those shows, like, I think the one thing in your defence is that a post-match show is meant to be like your immediate reaction straight out of the ground, and like we do it from hotel to you, so that it is literally a 4-minute walk for you to sit down and start the show, and that's the whole point of it, is to get exactly how you feel in that moment, rather than us traipsing into Liverpool and setting up the studio and blah blah blah.
But I'm going to slow the pricks at 11 as well, you know.
Well,
we'll see.
I was about to say it might be a little bit calmer, and then the review will be a little bit more
analytical.
And you know, look at that Salah prick trying it from the halfway line.
I had to watch it back. I had to watch it back. Think about that. That is to come, AFQ. And then there's all the stuff right the way through the week. Listen, Craig Hannan, Neil Atkinson, Talking Reds. Take it easy.
Damien, start with you, mate. 4-1.
Mate,
happy?
Yeah, mate.
Top of the league?
Yeah, it's been a good week. I think it's a great time for Jürgen. I think he wanted to just clear these hurdles, and he's got his results in. and he's been able to give some minutes out this week.
Any worries about that team when you're seeing it?
No worries. I didn't necessarily think
not panicking about Moreno?
No, not at all. I mean, the Moreno thing, like, I mean, God love him, like, he's not even the third best left back at the club probably, or nothing like that, but you can't expect Andy Robbo to play every single game, right? And if you're gonna give him a rest, you're gonna give, and if you think Moreno's weak defensively, then playing against a team at home who doesn't want to attack you, it makes perfect sense. I would love to have seen Shaqiri play from the start because I think he deserves it, but I understand also getting some minutes into Adam Lallana. So, yeah, there was no worries at all. And what I really enjoyed about it, probably the most, is back in the olden days, and everyone remembers the dark olden days and they're all mentally scarred. Cardiff would probably they stayed back at 1-0. And then they stayed back at 2-0 because they think maybe sneak one towards the end. We could make a bit of a panic out of this. And so they did. They sneaked one towards the end. The crowd were calm. Liverpool were calm. Went up the other end and fucked them. Happy days for top of the league. What more do you want?
Yeah, I mean, it was just an easy day at the office, wasn't it? I mean, I had a look when I was queuing for a pie at half-time, how Liverpool were getting on with all the stats. Getting a reputation now for being a statter. And Liverpool had 85% possession in the first half.
Was it that much?
Yeah. And well, even with the second half, when you've just said they've had a bit of a go as well, it was still 80 by the end of the game. And Liverpool have had all the shots, all the possession, higher than every statistic that you want, including the important one, goals. And it was just easy, wasn't it?
I wasn't calm. I was fuming at half time.
Why?
Well, I think
you need to start drinking.
They were categorically one of the worst teams to come to Anfield in a long time. And to be honest, I just thought Man City had at the start of the game a 10-goal difference advantage, and they put 5 or 6 past these. And I thought we scored early. These were there for the take, and I thought first half we were so casual in everything we did. Every time we sort of got forward, things just seemed sloppy in the play. I thought the ball got to Adam Lallana a few times, and he chewed it a little bit, and just the momentum came out of the attacks. And I was just, we really want to try and put these to bed.